Alright, I've got a lot of requests for a pond update, and I finally have a follow-up to the last video where we've refreshed the pond. A lot has actually happened between that video and this video, so let me show you some things that I had to deal with. Around a week after I posted the last video about the pond, you can see right over there, I actually discovered this pretty long crack in the pond bed, which was basically causing the water levels to drop pretty drastically, and so I had to essentially just drain all of the water from the pond again and then get in there and use some silicone to basically patch that crack. You might also notice that the pond bed itself is extremely clean now and not green or sort of mucky at all. I actually ended up using a pressure washer and basically just pressure washing the entire pond bed so that now when you see it, it is very clear. I would even take a bath in this, honestly, if the water wasn't so cold. So this is completely ready for fish now. I just treated it using a bunch of these things. So over here, I have some algae control. I have some beneficial bacteria, which will basically help break down any like sludge or dead leaves and keep the water clear. And then over here, this is a water conditioner. So basically just making the water ready for the fish. I also did pick up this basically like decorative trunk, which if you can see, will give the fish a good little hiding place from any birds or raccoons that are trying to eat them. So I'm gonna put this in the pond as well. The weather is a little bit cloudy right now and it's getting a little bit late in the afternoon, so I'm probably gonna go pick up the fish tomorrow morning. The plan is to get only mosquito fish this time instead of any colorful fish so that it doesn't attract any attention. I'm also gonna be picking up a bunch of pond plants to hopefully outcompete and prevent any algae growth, as well as provide some extra cover for the fish. I think I'm definitely feeling a lot more confident this time around with a very fleshed out plan. Okay, I just got back from the pond store. Let me show you everything that I got. You can see first thing, obviously, we got some fish. These are 18 mosquito fish, which I think should be perfect for the size of our pond. I also ended up getting a bunch of water plants. This one is a lily, which should actually flower at some point. I've got this kind of tall looking reed one. And then I've got this vine type plant, which will grow in the water. And then finally, these ones, which are actually all water lettuces, and these will actually like be floating inside the water, whereas obviously these three have actual pots. Okay, just like last time, I'm gonna start by slowly integrating them into the pond environment. Start mixing in some of the pond water. And then while that's going, I'll also set up all the plants here. Last step here is going to be installing this raccoon deterrent. Basically what this should do is whenever this sensor detects a raccoon anywhere near the pond, this sprinkler will basically just go off and scare the raccoons. So hopefully this works. Here is the completed and revamped pond setup. So you can see I got a bunch of really cool plants floating in the water now, which are going to provide plenty of cover for the fish. It's probably going to be hard to see them for a while just because they're going to get used to this entire area. I'm assuming they're probably all going to hide like in that dark little corner over there, but I will definitely try to insert some footage once I catch them in good lighting. So as I mentioned in my last video where I updated the little cozy corner over there, I'm actually starting a much larger living room setup revamp. If you've been watching my channel ever since I moved into this place last June, you probably know that we went through 3, maybe 4 iterations of this living room layout just because with this massive black fireplace over here and this relatively small wall right here, it's been pretty difficult actually to find a layout that actually works for this space. This is what we landed on, which I've been using for the last, I want to say 7 or 8 months. But a while back, I did get this new living room rug, which is a little bit bigger, and it got me thinking about other ways that we can sort of swap things out and really change things to make this room flow a little bit better. I also just love switching up my home every once in a while. I think it's a great way to make your space feel sort of new and exciting again. So I'm gonna play around a little bit with the living room today, take you guys with me, and let's see if we can land on a better layout. First things first, and probably the most controversial thing that I will be doing to my living room is I'm gonna get rid of this entire TV setup. Because my vision for this room actually involves setting up a really extensive wall shelf system, these both need to go. The mini fridge, I'm definitely gonna find another spot for close to the dining room. Probably gonna have to put this wood unit right here into storage because we have the movie room now. I think we're trying to watch TV in here a little bit less and have the living room be sort of more conversational. But even though this TV is going away, I think I'm probably still going to pick up something a little bit smaller that's easier to fit into the rest of this living room, just in case I do ever want to, like host friends over and do something TV related in this space. Alright, it is now the next morning, but as you can see, I was able to sort of like 85% finish the new living room layout. So let me give you guys a little tour. Starting from the top of the stairs here, you can see that the room now looks like this. On this left side, instead of the TV and the mini fridge, I brought the mirror back over here, and then this little storage unit that used to be behind the couch. As I mentioned before, this is going to turn into one big unified wall shelving system, but for now, this is the temporary setup we have. I'm able to walk behind the couch without having to go through the middle of the living room. The corner over there is pretty much the exact same as it was. The Togo sofa is now here. As I mentioned before, the big thing, the TV. Hopefully you can try to imagine what like a much smaller TV would look like next to the fireplace. This one is just a little bit too big for the space, so it definitely looks pretty awkward. I think the only other thing that I noticed that I didn't anticipate when I switched this out was there's just a lot more empty space, sort of, well, obviously if this thing wasn't here, in this area near the door and sort of between the dining room. Maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing anyways, because I think it should feel sort of open, but I guess I'm just not used to it. I'm kind of wondering if I should do something here or maybe have this moved back a little bit so that more of that space is taken up. Especially from this angle, you can see how much better the room just flows and just feels a lot less cluttered and in the way of things, especially because over there, as you can see, the stairs are now very clearly open and not being blocked by anything. Even the space in the middle here just feels a lot more spacious. Of course, if the TV there was a little bit smaller and sort of tucked away. Definitely pretty happy with how the way this living room revamp is going. I think this layout is probably what we're going to land on, obviously tweaking some of the details like I mentioned. We still got to get the wall shelf. I am honestly considering getting a new couch just because this one is now coming up on 4 or 5 years old, and so there's definitely parts of it that are starting to show wear and tear. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think about this new layout. I'd love to hear any tips that you guys have, but I think we're going in the right direction.
내게 한 가지 소원을 묻는다면 사람이란 것을 목매 떨리지 않게 해줘 난 그냥 자유롭게 멀리 날아가고 싶어 가끔 모든 것이 너 잡는 것처럼 느껴지네